So quick intro, my name's Mo from the Bitcoin Design community, Bitcoin Design Foundation. My friend Steven over there and I got to work together for a bit until he was poached by Voltage. So the Bitcoin Design community and foundation is working at an ecosystem level. So we support open source Bitcoin projects in their user experience. And that's in terms of design, in terms of research, understanding the needs of users. And being a UX designer and more leaning onto the research side, I've had the absolute privilege of really understanding the needs of a very large population of people that every one of you here in this room could literally make a huge impact on their lives, because we can't build stuff without the builders. I'm here to present you with information, and I hope that this information empowers you and gets your feathers really ruffled, and you want to just start building for this use case. Now, oh, what is happening? Okay. So how did I learn? So my friend here also mentioned the Human Rights Foundation. But there was a collaboration that happened between the Human Rights Foundation and the Bitcoin Design community a couple of months ago. Who's familiar with the Oslo Freedom Forum? Cool. Who's been? Okay. Please go. Like, you just, it'll literally change your life. Like, I don't say that lightly, but you'll see why. So I went over to the Oslo Freedom Forum. The Human Rights Foundation invited me over to the Oslo Freedom Forum, where human rights defenders go on stage and share their stories. Now, these are the statistics. In 67 countries around the world, and 40% of the world's population live in countries that are not free. You do the math. I'm not a mathematician, but that's millions of people who live in politically oppressed environments. We get to live in free environments. They don't. So what does that mean? So you're probably like, why is she putting some cartoon woman? Like, what is? So I'm in a boardroom, and I'm in an interview. And this woman is pacing up and down the room. She has this beautiful curly hair. And I'm sitting there, I'm the researcher, and I'm asking her all these questions because I want to collect data, right? Because I want to collect data to share with you guys. And I'm reading her body language, and it's full of tension and stress. And I look outside of the glass door just through the glass partitioning, and her bodyguard is standing outside the room. This lady fights for her rights in her country of origin, and she raises the voices of the woman in her country of origin. But every single time she does this, her bank account gets shut down, her Instagram gets hacked, and all the people who she has private messages with on Instagram or Signal or Twitter or any of the platforms that she uses, their lives then become at risk. Her life is at risk every single day because of the work that she does. Now, these are some direct quotes which came about from the research. If anyone is going to hack into your chat messaging system, then they will discover your database of coordinators. If they discover that, they know the plans as well as the strategy of whatever you're trying to work towards. They'll know the strategies of your organization, and it can be damaging for your sources. But not just damaging. If they find your list of collaborators, they will go and arrest them. They will then take them to jail. They will then be tortured, and they may or may not leave jail alive. That is the reality of having your database exposed. And these are just some real-life use cases. One of the human rights defenders told me that their hotel room was broken into, their laptop was stolen. Whatever information they're able to find out about you, they will then do a social media smear campaign against you, basically disempowering you and telling false storylines about you to get your followers to not believe what you're saying. They could even steal or vandalize your documents. And here we go, another one. For many of them, it's dead or alive. There have been assassination plots. I remember at one particular event, there was a gentleman on stage. And I don't remember his name because I'm terrible at names. But he stood there on stage, and he was wearing this beautiful blue suit. But then behind him was this picture of himself in handcuffs, about to be taken into jail. He was taken away from his 9-year-old daughter for years. You raise your voice, you go to prison. You do not have free speech. So prison is a very real-life scenario for many human rights defenders. Now, what communication channels are they using? Well, they don't have much option in terms of the communication channels that they use. They're using the mainstream communication channels, such as WhatsApp, Telegram. They're using the main social media platforms, such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The interview that we did and the data that we collected was we interviewed 11 people. Now, this is a very small sample. There's still loads more research to be done. Now, the reason why they're using these, I mean, you could say, like, great, like, why don't they message each other on Nostr? Or why don't they message each other on white noise? Who's familiar with white noise? There we go. Jeff's an amazing human, by the way. I wish he was here. So the problem is, how do you move hundreds of people or thousands of people off of Instagram and say to them, hey, come to this technology over here that's like, I mean, you know, you're just gonna like log in and then you're gonna get like a super long phrase and like all good. Many of these people are non-native English speakers. So we have to present the technology to them in a very trustworthy way that makes them feel safe, because every single day they feel unsafe. So the practical challenge that they're faced with is, okay, yeah, I'll go to a more privacy-focused solution, but how do I tell my thousands, how do I literally just move an entire building of hundreds of people to another place, and this building is something that they're completely not familiar with? So who are they communicating with? Through the research that we did, there's 5 main groups that they're communicating with. They're communicating with the general public, they're communicating with fellow activists, family and close friends, media and journalists, and people who fund their work. The biggest group being the general public, as well as fellow activists and teammates. Now, you might be wondering, why are they communicating with those 2 groups the most? Well, the general public is because they want to share the truth. They want to have free speech. Fellow activists and teammates, well, they need to rally together and organize things in private. So there's these 2 contradictory forces that come into play. The one side is, well, I need to have my voice exposed to hundreds of people. And then the other side of the story is, I need to organize certain things in a very private way. And when I organize those things in a private way, if I'm hacked, those people will not be exposed. So those being the 2 biggest use cases. So we asked many of the activists, are you familiar with Bitcoin? Some of them were, I would say around 50% of them, well, just under 50% of them. And only 3 of them had actually used Bitcoin for activism. 3 of them had a Bitcoin account, and 1 of them said, well, I don't remember my password. It was too, They tried. So what are some of the problems that they face with handling money? Their bank accounts get frozen. So many of them that I spoke to, as soon as they have a large enough following in their country of origin, the opposing party who they're exposing will freeze their bank account, so they have no access to money. No access to money, you can't buy food, you can't pay for your rent, you can't flee the country. Many of them then need to flee the country because their lives are in danger. Then there's also restrictions. There's always KYC. So they have a bank account, the bank account is completely linked to their information. And, well, the current solutions that they have is simply not convenient for them. So, this is a lot of information in a short space of time. But I'll let you have a read of that because I don't believe in talking and looking at slides at the same time. So go ahead and have a read of that. So at this stage, we're hypothesizing, and it is a hypothesis because we're only working with a sample size of 11. We're just at the beginning of conducting research. But if you understand, these are millions of people that you have the potential to help. This is life-changing. You could literally change their lives. So now we're going to move into the workshop. Now, funny story, I was only expecting to do a workshop for like 10 people. And then I walked into the room and was like, that's a little bit of a big room. I was not expecting to be giving a presentation in a room that big. But anyway, this is a good size. So we're going to move into the workshop. So I put this workshop together in a very practical way. We're going to go through a few steps. But I'm going to do something that I've actually never done before, which I think is going to be super fun, is I'm going to role play. So I would like you to imagine that with all of this information that I've shared with you, you're now the builder. You have the opportunity to sit across the table from a political activist and ask them any questions you want, because you want to build solutions for them. I'm going to be the activist fighting for my rights, for my people. And you can ask me any questions you want, and I'm going to try and answer those questions. It's possible that I don't have the answers. And then we're going to move into an exercise where you're going to think through solutions, think through the problems that they face, and we're going to then move through all of these steps. And I've got some lovely colored paper and some pens, so we're really going to get to work here. So first, with the role play. My name is Luna, and I am a political activist. I would very much like you, the builders here, to help me. Because if you help me, you help hundreds of people. You could save lives. So ask me any questions you want about money, about communication, about who I need to send money to, about how I'm sending money at the moment. And I'll answer all of those questions if I can. I hope I can. And then we'll move on to the workshop. Now, this part of asking questions and digging is so important because, and I want you to also imagine that I'm a non-native English speaker. So my English is like, let's put me at a 15-year-old. Okay? I don't maybe even understand what privacy means, or Tor, or what is that? Is that like a sci-fi movie? So just remember that I'm a non-native English speaker. And I want you to make my life easier by building solutions for me. So if we could just, start getting a microphone around the room so you guys can ask me questions and I'll do my best to answer the questions. I ask myself that question all the time. Usually what I do is when I meet someone, is that good? Okay. Usually what I do, and this is like a very basic solution, it's not practical in any sense. When I meet someone for the first time, like let's say I meet this gentleman here and I meet him in real life, I take a photo. I know this guy in the back. He works on privacy, he's amazing. So I stand next to him and then I take a photo and then I message him on Signal and then I send him the photo that I took with the two of us and then I know that he's that guy. And then every time we message, it's that same guy. Other than that, if I don't meet the person in person and I don't have the opportunity to do the photo verification, I actually don't know if I can trust the person. Usually I'll ask one of my friends and then they're like, yeah, I kind of know him. Or I'll do a little bit of Google search for that person, but that's kind of the methods I use at the moment.
How would you go about deciding that that's trustworthy?
I don't know.
Do you need to be able to do everything on a phone, or would you be willing to use a laptop?
Sometimes I travel a lot for my political work. Sometimes I'm on the run. Sometimes I need to flee my house. And when I flee my house, I just grab my passport and I just grab some basic clothes. Sometimes I don't even have opportunity to grab clothes, and then I just get out of my house. And sometimes I don't even have the opportunity to take my laptop because then they know, that I'm taking with stuff with which I can do things. So I just hide my phone and I just get going. Yeah.
When you do run and leave the house, is it possible for you to take like a seed, like a bunch of words that you need to remember to get the data back and keep talking to the same people?
What do you mean by seed?
A bunch of words that you can use to recover your data.
Okay. So my daily life, I'm under incredible levels of stress. Sometimes due to my high stress levels, I even forget my own phone number. I probably could remember a few things, maybe 2 or 3 words, I guess. But, English is not my first language, so I would really have to remember how to spell that. What
if the seed was in your native
That
language?
would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you interact with it, are you more comfortable with copy, paste, or QR codes, or NFC, like tap sort of technology? What's most comfortable for you to use, give you the most confidence with it?
So QR codes?
Or NFC, tap and pay, tap and sign, sort of physical, like badges to get you in through a door, like PIN numbers. Like, what are you most comfortable with as far as like all of those options we have? A lot of this data is too much for us to trust to our memory, so we like copy and paste rather than try to like type anything. So like which format are you using already?
I'm using all of those formats, but the reality of my life is that when they arrest me, they take my phone away from me. And when they take my phone, they search my phone. They check to see who's my contacts, and then I don't even have access to my phone. So then I can't even send the people in my movement money. So maybe sometimes I guess I can get to like an internet cafe, but if I'm arrested, then my phone's gone and I don't have access to any of those options. But maybe if I get out of jail and they still have my phone, then I'll be able to, you know, maybe access the internet through my friend's phone or through an internet browser. But sometimes I don't even get out of jail. Sometimes I die. And then when I die, then there's my phone with the Bitcoin that I've managed to fundraise. So what happens to that Bitcoin?
A piece of jewelry that had a little memory chip implanted in it, like that could store some of this for you, and then that combined with an old phone provides something that could like be passed on of your possessions to somebody after. They got your phone, they had this sign and key. And to verify people you've already spoken with, might having this friend's bracelet like be a useful authentication tool to like go along with the picture that you're already taking. Like, would a physical object as a token of trust be useful?
That
maybe?
sounds like a good idea, yeah.
The folks that I used to work with through like other channels carried a cash, United States bills, usually $100 or more. Do you find that productive still as you're moving around, just to lubricate safety, essentially?
Money is so important for me, being able to have cash. One time, I put like a band on my upper thigh, and I put money into the band, and I smuggled it in, because that was the only way for me to get money to my family who needed food. Cash is very, very important for me. And that's the thing that I struggle with this thing that you guys call Bitcoin the most, is that it's like this digital thing, but I don't even know how it's going to help me to buy food when I'm just looking for food and water in some of the situations that I'm in.
Question. So when you cross borders or at immigration checks, when your device is inspected, what is the one thing that you're most worried about?
So I don't know who's collaborating with who, and I don't know who to trust. I'm really afraid that they're going to take my phone and they're going to access all those contact people on my phone, and I'm scared that those people are then also going to be arrested and interrogated and tortured. I really genuinely fear for the other people, my family, my friends, and the other people who are in the movement with me.
You keep track of, you erase the communications of people you want to protect, but then also once you get safe again, how are you recalling that back? Or what do you like to do to get that back?
So this is one of the questions that I don't know, but I'm going to hypothesize. I have a little book, a little black book, pen and paper, and I write their names. And then I have one name and one phone number, and that's my main contact. If anything happens to me, I contact that one person, and then they know she's in danger, she's been arrested, you need to do stuff.
In your community, or the area you're in, what things are commonly used as money, especially digital things like, I don't know, mobile minutes, any things that are commonly accepted for value?
I don't actually know the answer to this question. Many of the activists were familiar with airtime, purchasing just regular airtime. That's a normal thing, yeah. This is amazing. This role play for activists is amazing. I hope you're getting all the information because you're going to be workshopping just now.
This is really hard, by the way. Would you say that you're more unmet or unsatisfied with your ability to spend your money or store your money?
spending and storing. My needs are more unmet with spending or storing. So right now, there's these people, they want to send Bitcoin to me for my activist movement because they want to help me with Bitcoin. But I don't even, like, I'm happy that they want to donate to the movement. And they're telling me just send them this information and then they're going to give it to me. So I'm going to receive this digital money and then I don't understand how I'm going to spread that out to the people, because if I give them that electronic thing, then how do they actually even use it for food? So there's a thing with this receiving, and then I receive and it's great, but then I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with it, because I can't, and I don't know how to use it really. And I don't know how to teach the people that I want to give it to how to use it. And then, so that's the receiving. And then with the sending, I guess I kind of answered both, because then I need to tell the people in my movement that they need to download this thing, this Bitcoin wallet, and then I'm going to send it to them. And then I also have to tell them, teach them how they're going to actually get cash using that. So there's a few steps for me to do to get these people who are in my movement to be able to use this.
So it sounds like all of the steps in using a digital form of money are problematic, are very difficult. Receiving, maybe storing to a lesser degree, and sending, understanding it, the whole consumption of digital money.
And my people, they just don't trust, because we don't trust anyone, because we don't even know who we can trust. So my everyday life is I live in a constant state of fear. And when I meet someone and someone gives me information, I don't know if they're sending me a link and they're trying to hack my phone. One time someone sent me a link, and the link put a huge virus on my phone, and they listened to every single conversation that I had, and they knew everything that I was doing. So I don't know who I can trust, and I don't know, if you send me a link, I don't know if I can trust the link, because these people at the Human Rights Foundation taught me that when I receive links on my phone, I shouldn't open these links, because the links can put viruses in my phone. And then they know everything what I'm doing, and they're also tracking me.
So in your existing tribal network, is there one person that everybody trusts to handle the tech for everyone else?
For sure, there's definitely leaders, yeah.
So if this tech expert was able to stamp a tattoo for each tribal member on a friend's bracelet, and then give that to everyone that then could be used in the tribal marketplace to kind of seed everybody with a means of interacting that's already trusted, because this other specialist they already know handles that for them. Is that something that?
Yeah, if we had a live in-person meeting, and then my leader would give everyone this, then I know that I can trust that thing. Yeah, like this band on my hand right now, because then I physically saw the person. That's the ultimate level of trust.
So if you had a way to time stamp and verify how many times and how many places that trust had been established because you broke bread together, might that not allow others to trust that your bond is even stronger because you've got 4 time-stamped interactions in the real world gathering, so others can trust each other to validate? You're most likely both who you say you are if we're trying to communicate. Might that trust transfer?
I guess so, but trust is then again for me a very big thing, so I really struggle to trust. But yeah, it sounds like a great idea. If it's easy to understand, because I'm just learning to speak English. So, yeah.
Is there any person that you trust is there any human being that you trust that is not feasible for the government or whoever's after you to hurt or take? Like, is there someone out of your country who you trust? One person.
Is there someone outside of my country that I trust?
Like that one phone number or someone you trust with your bank account or something like that.
I mean, if I met you in person at a conference or at an event, and we exchange something during that moment, and then we trust, then I trust you. And then I would fly back to my home country or wherever I live. But the thing is I'm quite often on the run because, you know, as I said, I fled my home country because I spoke up against my government. And when I fled, I just took my phone. And then when I went to this other country, I didn't even have my original phone. And then I met you, so then I got a new phone. And then I met you, and then we exchanged. So, yeah, I guess that would work.
Do you have any tangible skills, like a unique skill sets, plumber, electrician, things where you can establish into a community of other likely skilled people that can't really be corrupted because you either know how to do this thing or you don't? Anything like that you can...
Oh, what do you mean by skill?
Like you know how to do a unique function in the society that's now the trust equation or whatever, the unique identifier. Like, this is the way we lay bricks. Other people don't lay bricks this way, or whatever. Something that's like a physical, tangible skill that can be proven across or independent of borders or governments or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've learned to, because of the highly stressful situations that I'm constantly in, there's a lot of unspoken language that happens between us. Because I've been so many times in very dangerous situations, and I need to communicate without using words that I'm in danger. So there's been certain mannerisms or things that I've done in the past to communicate that I'm not safe, for example. So we do have these, I would say secret codes or secret ways of communicating, non-verbally. I love these questions. I love role-playing this role of this activist, because the thing is, you, as builders, you need to sit across the table from the person you're building for. Because if you don't do that, then you don't really know who you're building for. And I love it that Obi's here in this room, because a lot of what they do at Fedimint is they put the users first, and they really highly value research. So before you build, a lot of what I see is we're very quick to jump to solutions. But until you actually walk in the shoes of the person you're building for, you cannot come up with any solutions. Now that you've asked me all of these questions, you've built up a framework of the intricacies of this person's life. And what I love about working for Bitcoin, and particularly working for this particular use case, is that it's freaking hard. I mean, I think freaking hard would be an understatement, We're just at the cusp. And as I said, many of you here in the room, who knows what could be built or what framework could be built with this information that you now have. There could be something that could come out of this workshop that could literally change all of these people's lives. So that's why it's incredible that we're sitting here, that you're here and you want to participate in this. So thank you. So here's the next step that we're going to do. Now we're going to get really hands-on. So what are the jobs? I'm going to come around, and if you want to work on your own, work on your own. If you want to just sit with the person who you're working with, feel free. The first question that you're going to ask yourself is, what are the jobs And, because there's two sides to the activist story. There's the communication side, and then there's the receiving money side or receiving Bitcoin side. You can decide, based on your skill set, which of these two you'd like to tackle. Maybe you know both sides of the equation, and you decide you want to go for both. Be my guest. This is about freedom. So decide, based on all the information, whether you want to tackle the communication side or whether you want to tackle the receiving funds side. So what are the jobs? So you ask yourself a series of questions. What are the jobs that this tool or solution or protocol needs to have to be able to serve this person? That's question number one. I'm going to come around with some pen and some paper, and then you can write down. The second question you're going to ask yourself is, if I put this in Lego steps, this is the first thing that they need to do, this is the second thing that they need to do, and this is the third thing that they need to do. But really take yourself outside. Go to the step when the person is standing there and they know nothing. We don't even have the application in our hands yet. Someone just walks up to you and says, hey, use this thing, and it can solve all of these things for you. So just go even the one step before. It's the step when you're downloading it from the App Store. What does this thing say? How is it going to help? And then the next step is, what are the existing solutions on the market? Okay, Noster, okay, white noise, okay. Write those existing solutions down on the paper. What are those existing solutions missing? So these are the steps, and at the end of the workshop, I'm crazy excited for what you guys are going to come up with. And I hope we have enough time to get each of you to share what you come up with. So I guess the first part, we have 45 minutes, that's amazing. So the first part, I'll give you sort of 15 minutes. I mean, I'm sure you guys are absolutely brilliant. So I think 15 minutes is enough. We can feel the vibes at 15 minutes and add in another 5 minutes if you need more time. So we'll do 15 minutes, maximum 20 minutes to answer all of these questions. And then we're then going to go around the room, and each person's going to have an opportunity to share or group what they've been thinking through, and I'm super excited to hear what you guys come up with. So yeah, could I have some help with handing out the papers? Thank you so much. Let the workshop begin. We are ready for the sharing section. So just with regards to your privacy, I have shared it with the lovely gentleman over here. And those of you who have expressed the wishes to remain private, he is not going to make sure that your faces are not on camera. So we have 20 minutes left. So if we could keep it to sort of, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you're together? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If we could keep it to 5 minutes, sort of 4 minutes per group, because otherwise we'll run out of time and we won't be able to hear what everyone's saying. So 4 minutes, you know, present your solution, ideally the solution, and yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we kind of identified the problems we wanted to solve as like, one, it needs to be in the native language. There needs to be a way to communicate securely. There also needs to be a way to communicate verifiably with trusted people, like just know that who I'm talking to is who I think it is. Receive Bitcoin, send Bitcoin, destroyability, and recoverability. So what we came up with is better signal. And God, this echo sucks. There's like a delay. I hate it so fucking much. Anyways, the basic idea is imagine that you have this fork of signal that's designed for activists with their needs in mind. It's like a properly maintained fork that's interoperable with regular signal. So the way the user learns about this is through like an HRF training session, one of these kind of like workshops that the HRF might do. So you learn about it from kind of this like trusted educational source. It's kind of TBD, do you need to get this from the main app store, an alternative app store, is it side-loaded? Kind of unclear on that yet. But the idea is that the HRF helps the activists get it on their phone. It's in their native language by default, so we just kind of solved that problem by making sure that this specifically the app is translated into languages that the activists are going to be using. Once you have the app, you want to communicate with somebody else, you have to scan their signal QR code in person and to get the contact information. But it actually comes up and it shows you like a piece of artwork. And it's like, if I'm going to exchange contact information with Maru, it's going to be like, make sure that she has a purple triangle on her screen that matches the one you see on your screen, or make sure that like the green dog on your screen matches the green dog on her screen. And basically we just like turn the signal fingerprint into like a piece of artwork that's more like human readable, and you're just like making that way. It's like a easy way to verify the fingerprint, so that that way you know that the person is trusted. So we have the contact list, and we divide the contact list into trusted contacts and untrusted contacts. And that way we make the untrusted contacts kind of like in red. We make them appear a little bit more dangerous. So that way if like someone just slides into your DMs, we kind of remind the user that like you don't really know who this person is, you shouldn't trust them. From there, we would also block links for untrusted contacts. So if an untrusted contact send you a link, we would actually prohibit the link from being openable. And that's to safeguard them from like, some government sending them a link that goes to malware. From there, we would also have a Bitcoin wallet built into it for sending and receiving. And then kind of like one feature we're kind of happy about is like the recoverability and destroyability. So basically there would be like a recovery contact, which is like somebody that in your network, it's like one of your trusted contacts, and you have them set as your recovery contact. So if you're about to get arrested, you can long press the signal icon on the app, and it will not delete the app, but it will take the app and overwrite it with fake data. In other words, fake messages, so that if you're at like a security checkpoint, it's going to look suspicious. It's like if you're an activist, you should have Signal on your phone. So it actually looks more suspicious if you don't have Signal on your phone because it looks like you just deleted it. So instead, you long press, it overwrites all of your messages with fake messages, and then it DMs all of your eCash to your trusted contact so that your friend now has the Bitcoin instead. So I don't know, long-winded way of doing it, but that was kind of our solution.
Dang, wow. Okay, let's go. Anyone here? Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm what's left over here. So the first job that needs to be done is to identify who you are and who your counterparty is. Because for any contract to ever be valid, you need to have two signatories. Both signatory needs to be validated as to who they are. They recognize that the equivalent of a state notary is accomplished by having two people verify and authenticate each of the signing parties are who they are. So if we can transfer trust, because these two know me, they'll vouch for who I am. They also know her. They can vouch that we are who we say we are. We can have a transferable trust through that reputation that we can have with a physical token, that if we pass it off whenever we meet, we can have a token for each tribe. And because you're a member of 4 other little tribal councils that all trust you, I also trust this tribal council. That can transfer, so you have 4 other trusted counterparties that are also, like, I can be sure that you are who you are. Maybe you're more likely to not steal from me. And so we can then engage in trade if we have a common communication rail. Because verifying comms is both money and security and identity. And you have to know who you're speaking to, so having a way to authenticate and validate who you're talking to on the other end when you are, because AI is getting in the middle now, and government surveillance is like tracking and tracing us and copying and pasting us. If we don't have that physical ID badge, our friend's bracelet, we can't trust it's not AI. This is a reality already. So if we can give everybody just a little doggle as a keychain, we 3D print on these little $100 printers, we can end up having our paper printers print up a QR code version of it, where the written version is a human readable Lightning, Noster, email, private Bitcoin address that's all the same that we're already used to. So we give everybody all 3 of these. Like, you want anybody else to find you, scan this QR code. When you meet them in person, tap your friend's bracelet to their friend's bracelet, and then you get an extra validation that you've already met in person. You can trust that they are who they say they are. And they're not a government agent because the tribal council is already validating who they are, and we all trust them, and they have a lifelong self-interest in taking care of the family. So because we can extend this tribal trust network by having this physical token of trust, that we just embed a little NFC chip. So these things can cost like 20 to 80 cents, $1. And so the central trusted tribal leader can then pass these out whenever we have a physical gathering like this, just like these. Like, there's a guy here I saw, it's like he has proof of attendance. He's come here for 4 years in a row. He's wearing his bracelets with pride. I'm gonna trust this guy knows what the hell's going on a lot more than myself, because I'm here for the first year. That proof of attendance, proof of knowledge can then be monetized in a trusted group forum. So like, whenever we decide how we're gonna communicate to one another, whether it's through Signal or white noise, whether NIP 17-bit chat, like whatever we're using to geohash into our little communities, we can have our own like Bitcoin Citadel network state so that we govern ourselves if we just coordinate our procedures, our toolboxes. And that's the hardest part I see, is like teaching everybody how to get on the same page, because we're not just herding cats, we're herding unneutered alley cats. Like, Bitcoiners are not easy to coordinate. We resist it actively. So, but within our families, with our businesses and our business associates that we're trying to trade with, I think this is how we can extend it in a replicable pattern for everybody at scale.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about the existing solutions. I think we talked about it. We were just like talking about how like this is not something new. Secret societies have existed for a long time that have preserved their secrecy and their confidentiality, things like that. There are like drug cartels, like like these are criminal organizations, but the kind of functions that they have to do, like the jobs to be done, are kind of the same jobs. Like you need to establish trust and things like that, right? So for the third question there, what are the existing solutions? I would say I'm not really sure what the existing solutions are, because I'm not like in a drug gang or something, but there are existing solutions. I think something that can be done is that like we can research what these solutions are that are being used by these organizations and things like that, and then maybe use those for activists. Because another way to look at it is something like, if the government can criminalize regular people, good people, then functionally, like, the drug dealer is in the same user persona as an activist, right? Like both need to be protected from the law or whatever that is, right? And so then why can't we learn from them and then use it to protect the good people, I guess?
I actually have some of the ways that they already address this is with physical cash, paper and coinage that they just transmit. There's final settlement, it's bearer instrument, like it's totally fungible and not traceable. So like giving a bearer instrument eCash token that's a QR code that with a scratch off protecting it could be a form of paper cash that's handed to somebody that can be redeemed and accessed from their wristband. And then we pass it around, and we haven't revealed this, because what's been used are phone cards, or another version of how like alternative monies form up with just passing around phone credits, because everybody already has to pay a phone bill. This is already happening across Latin America. I assume it's happening in Africa and India. So like giving our community credit with a mint that the tribal elders manage for the tribe, like we already trust them, so maybe we can trust them with that too. So we can redeem it from our wristband. You just don't lose your wristband when you get arrested.
All right, so we have 7 minutes left. So if we could just do 3 minutes and 3 minutes, then we get everyone in.
Yeah, so the tool that I think would help with this is Eve, which is the tool that I'm building right now already, which is a tool to create closed community networks. Essentially, those are completely invite-only communities where every single interaction in this community is encrypted. So you can have simple chat, you can have an application for your money, you can have a forum, you can have, I don't know, literally anything you need can be written in and work with Eve. And the data itself is encrypted between all the members, and there is an integrated reputation system. So next to the name of every person, you're going to see a number that represents what their status in the community is. And in addition to that, the entire data in Eve, in the application, can be deleted with one button. So essentially, you can get rid of everything, very quickly if you need to run or do whatever. And it can be recovered by just typing in, 12 words that can be theoretically in any language. So it could be in your native language, or it could be, English, as it is now. And when you recover the data, you recover your identity, and you recover your money, because it's all tied together. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, let's go to the last group.
So our idea, we actually really loved the bracelet idea, so not a whole lot different, but the idea of really trying to hyper-focus on some kind of small device that kind of physically proves some kind of exchange of identity. So, you could now layer this on top of something like Nostr, but instead of the messages coming from your Nostr keys, it's coming from this physical device. And this physical device as well, you could click a button and then all of a sudden, its information is wiped, or it starts to basically create invalid signatures as kind of like a safety mechanism. And that when you first get the device, that it would kind of be uninitialized. So you could, at that point, tie it to your first device, like a phone or whatever that first device would be. But moving forward, you would need to use some kind of password or something you remember to add additional devices. So just a small, I'd say, like marginal identity solution. Anything you guys wanted to add?
Wow, wow, wow. I didn't expect that. And 3 minutes left too. So, okay. So I'd like to say that just thank you. Firstly, thank you for taking your time to be here in this workshop. And secondly, if you're serious about building any of these solutions, and if you're like, I want to build this, or if you're already building this, there are organizations that fund this work. Sometimes there's this feeling in the Bitcoin space like you got to work for free, you're going to build, but there are organizations that fund this work, and I'm aware of who those organizations are, and I have direct contact with people. So, and that's, I'm going to just go to my next one here with my contact information. So I'm all about doing and all about taking action. So if you're like, oh my God, this is super cool, I want to build this, or I want to tinker with this, please reach out to me. That's my x.com. Sorry, x.com is MOUX with no dot in the middle. I made a mistake there. And that's my website, mous.design. My email's on there as well. So please just feel free to message with something along the lines of, I was at your UX workshop. I'd love to, build this solution. Because that would be absolutely amazing. Or if you just want to reach out anywhere to be maybe more involved with this from a developer perspective, please feel free to reach out.